The next Giga coaster in North America is coming sooner than you think. There are more and more possibilities for future Giga coasters, and one is bound to open in the near future. There are more and more manufacturers offering to build 300-foot coasters, and new innovations allow for cheaper, unique, more efficient ways to build these monstrous coasters. The first Giga coaster opened way back in 2000, and that was Intamin's, but B&M came up with a better way to build one in 2012. It took 12 years for another manufacturer to finally come up with an answer to Intamin. But when B&M finally did, they'd become the new go-to manufacturer for Giga coasters. While both Intamin and B&M may be the manufacturer that builds the next Giga coaster, today there's a handful of other manufacturers we can't ignore. 2024 marks 12 years from when the first B&M Giga opened at Canada's Wonderland. Wouldn't that be the perfect time for RMC to finally reveal their first ever Giga T-Rex? RMC is not a manufacturer we could ignore when it comes to Gigas. In fact, they may even become the new go-to manufacturer for Gigas. RMC's coasters are both cheaper and easier to construct than any of B&M's or Intamin's rides, and they definitely aren't shy in the thrill aspect. Their single rail design isn't quite perfect yet, but it would allow them to build a relatively cheap Giga with decent capacity by utilizing the T-Rex 2 across seating, and would require a lot less construction time and maintenance than similar coasters from its competition. RMC has worked with pretty much every major park or chain in the US in the last decade, which gives them a much larger pool of potential customers. So RMC is definitely in a great position to build a Giga T-Rex in the next couple of years, but we can't forget in the last 12 months there have been more than one rumored B&M Giga project in the works. And while those may not necessarily come to fruition, it's clear some parks still want to go with B&M for these massive machines. B&M's Giga is just a larger version of their hypercoaster, which may just be the most successful coaster model of all time. And B&M has a reputation in the industry for providing safe, reliable, thrilling machines capable of capacity most manufacturers can't even come close to. Intamin is also still on the table, and there have also been rumors of planned Gigas from them in the last couple of years. Intamin was the first to get their hands on the Giga, and everyone knows Intamin is capable of building some of the greatest machines on the planet. That is, of course, if you don't end up with one of their too intense maintenance nightmares. There are other manufacturers that could be the ones to build the next Giga coaster. Zamperla is a manufacturer most people wouldn't even consider a year ago, but ever since they struck a deal with Cedar Fair to work on the reimagining of Cedar Point's top thrill dragster, you can no longer ignore them. If they were not only willing, but also got hired to work on the second tallest coaster in the world, then they may very well be able to build a coaster of such magnitude from the ground up. Zamperla isn't the biggest coaster manufacturer in the world, and the company is much more heavily invested in flat rides than they are in coasters. But they've been making a major push in the coaster industry, especially in the last couple of years. So who knows? Maybe they'll be the one building North America's next Giga coaster. Highly unlikely, but you definitely can't rule them out as a possibility. Vekoma is another manufacturer that's been doing a lot of cool things recently, and it's definitely possible we'll see them go for Giga territory one day. However, Vekoma has only been recently gaining popularity in the US after the disastrous models they brought in the 90s, so it might be a while before a North American park gives them a shot at a Giga. S&S is kinda linked with Vekoma, but they on the other hand have built some pretty major coasters in the US. 2019 was an especially big year for them, as that was the year they launched their brand new air launch model. Max Force was a massive hit, but it wasn't the most maintenance friendly, and let's not even talk about Kennywood's Steel Curtain. That was a maintenance disaster. The coaster was closed half the time, and that's not normal for a brand new coaster. S&S can definitely push the boundaries if a park wanted, but I doubt a park would choose to work with S&S on such a major project, because no park wants a maintenance nightmare. There's one more major manufacturer that may very likely build the next North American Giga coaster, Mack Rides. Mack Rides is one of the larger coaster manufacturers in the industry today. In the last decade, Mack has been making a major push in the coaster industry, and I think it's time they be included in the top tier of coaster manufacturers alongside B&M, Intamin, and RMC. Mack's Extreme Spinner have been huge hits at the parks they've opened at. Mack's hyper coasters also look spectacular, and just imagine a Mack Giga. Mack Rides also just struck a deal with Universal to build a star attraction at the new Epic Universe. This is literally the best thing Mack could have wished for. Universal chose Mack as the manufacturer of their standout attraction over Intamin at their new major park that may very well become the best park in the country. Whatever this dueling coaster is, it looks like it may even have a shot for competing for the #1 best coaster in the world. And for Mack to hold that record would really be jaw-dropping. So Mack Rides is definitely in a good position to build the next North American Giga coaster. Of all the manufacturers I've listed that have a shot at building North America's next Giga, B&M is definitely a park's safest bet. B&M has built a couple of Giga coasters already, and each one was a massive success. With B&M, you know you're getting great capacity, reliability, and a maintenance-friendly machine. Plus, many parks already have a working relationship with B&M. B&M's coasters are pretty expensive. A Giga coaster from them would likely cost the park upwards of $25 to $30 million. But there are a few parks I could see going with the B&M Giga. First, there's the SeaWorld chain. SeaWorld has a pretty good relationship with B&M. They're building the first ever surf coaster this year and have been opening an average of at least one new coaster from B&M each year. SeaWorld knows B&M's pitch of reliability and great capacity, so they may very well decide to shell out the cash for such a major project. Both Busch Gardens parks would be great candidates for a Giga, and I bet on the chain opening a Giga very soon. However, B&M isn't the only manufacturer SeaWorld works with, so they may decide to go another route manufacturer-wise. The Cedar Fair chain is another chain I look at when thinking of potential B&M Giga coasters, and the only Gigas I could see the chain building is if that rumored Knott's Berry Farm Giga ever comes to fruition, or if they decided to pull a Hershey Park move and give one to King's Dominion. Yeah, I know King's Dominion already has an Intamin Giga, but Hershey Park added a B&M Hyper to their lineup 3 years ago, despite the fact that they already had one from Intamin. So it's definitely possible, though I really don't think King's Dominion will be getting another Giga. On the topic of B&M, you can't ignore Hershey Park. If they can get around their height restriction, they may be in the market to outdo Candymonium in the next couple of years with a massive Giga. Hershey Park just spent a ton of money on Candymonium, which is currently the star attraction of the brand new Chocolate Town. So it may be a while before they want to outdo Candymonium, but it's definitely something they may consider down the line. Six Flags isn't really in the greatest position, but it's very possible they will move to invest in a B&M Giga in the next couple of years for one of their parks. Six Flags Great Adventure was rumored to have a B&M Giga in the works for 2024, and that might be back on the table now. So who knows? Intamin likely won't be building any Gigas in North America if it's not at a SeaWorld park, and I honestly think SeaWorld would go with B&M over Intamin for a Giga. However, Intamin's new model that allows a launch on the top hat might offer a park a cheaper option to a Giga coaster. Vekoma's best shot at opening a Giga is Kotoland. Kotoland just worked with Vekoma on the first modern tilt coaster, which I still can't believe is a reality. The Six Flags chain also might potentially make a bet on Vekoma and contract them to build a Giga, but I doubt it. A Giga from Vekoma is possible, but I don't think we'll see one for a while. Mack Rides can definitely build a Giga, and Cedar Fair may give them a shot at it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cedar Fair working a lot more with Mack Rides in the coming years, and definitely wouldn't rule a Giga coaster out. I also feel like Hershey Park might be the perfect place for a Mack Giga, but ever since Skyrush, Hershey Park has only been investing in proven coaster models that have been proven reliable for years. RMC is the real wild card in this topic. RMC's regular hybrids might hit Giga territory soon, but their T-Rex is definitely capable of Giga territory, and a T-Rex isn't so far away. RMC is on great terms with SeaWorld, Six Flags, and Hershey Park, and they may be able to get back together with Cedar Fair too. RMC's T-Rex could possibly be the cheapest a Giga could get since it utilizes a single rail track and technology that allows it to be built a lot quicker. The real question, in my opinion, is how soon will RMC build their first T-Rex? And will it be soon enough to become the next Giga in North America? If Six Flags Great Adventure gets their Giga for 2024, then they may be the winner. But I think SeaWorld and Cedar Fair definitely can't be ruled out. What do you think? Where do you think the next North American Giga will open?